What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review season 2, episodes 5 and 6 of Harlem, which is the comedy that comes on, I keep wanting to say HBO Max, that comes on Amazon Prime Friday nights. Yes, I know brother is late reviewing these episodes. That's because, listen, I've been booked, blessed. No, how do I say it? I've been blessed, booked, and busy. I had a show that I did on Friday, which prevented me from doing this review. It was the show called The Songs of Gladys. I played one of the Pips. I was Edward. You know, I had to do my little moves, whatever. Y'all can check out the video I have. You gotta check my what do you call it? My little shorts videos, and you'll see it on there. Check out the video, you'll see that. But anyway, I'm here. I know better late than never. I'm here to review episodes 5 and 6. Shout outs to my lovely subscribers. Y'all hold me down. Shout outs to those of you watching this show with me. I'm talking about folks like Logie the Yogi, Failed Dog Mom, Savannah Rivers Amore, Dupree, and Uma's Story Time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And June, I think June watches this show too. So anyway, we pick up where we left off last week. You know that all the young ladies were out going to Quinn's parents' vow renewal party to renew their vows or whatever it was. And of course, Quinn's not there, but we picked up right where we left off, where Camille was talking to Ty, and Ian walked up on her, you know, because Camille can't have babies. And she was like, I don't know how I'm going to break this to Ian. And he walked up, well, tell me what? And she kind of finessed him. She mentioned something about, you know, some issues. Oh, my period and this and that. And they start saying all that stuff, discharge and all these things. So he's like, I'm going to let y'all have this talk about the inner workings of your vagina on your own, ladies. And that's one thing. And Ty said the same thing. You want to clear a man away from a conversation? Start talking about the inner workings of your vagina. It's so true. It's just true. It is. But I thought that was funny. So I'm like, here we go. She's holding on to something she didn't want to tell him, so she didn't tell him that. And then here comes Quinn's mother, played by the lovely Jasmine Guy. She's looking for Quinn. Quinn is nowhere to be found because Quinn is going through it right now. And after Isabella dumped her and just things are just not working well, the whole Vogue magazine thing didn't go well. Her mother was so dry when she said to them, where is she? They said, well, she's probably tired from her interview with Vogue. The mother was like, okay. And she said, and you two, I would ask you to fill in, but you know, y'all are in casual dress. You know, this is a formal dinner, which I guess y'all didn't know better. And Ty was like, casual? She was like, I'm wearing Steve McQueen. By the way, I liked Ty's outfit. That suit she was wearing was clean. That was nice. But you know, this is how snobby Quinn's mother is. So after that, we see Jameson. Jameson tells Camille, now see this, I knew there was going to be some issues here. Jameson tells Camille that he's got this grant. They got this grant, and it's this big time grant, the McNeil grant, but they would have to put on a presentation about the roles of black women, black mothers to be exact, you know. And she's basically like real awkward. He said, yeah, you've been avoiding my calls and all this, and you've been blocking me. And she's like, no, I didn't block you. You know, I'm back with Ian. Now, see, this is kind of corny to me of Jameson. I personally wouldn't do this. If this was my ex-girlfriend, and she dumped me, and I get it, you know, he's trying to keep it about a business. But listen, you know your heart is still there. You know your feelings is still there. I couldn't do business with an ex because I know the way I'm wired. Hey, I go make it about me. The way I am wired, it's going to be complicated. So, especially the way things ended, but I guess he wants to, you know, he needs to get this grant money too. And he's like, listen, we can do this grant. It's $25,000 grant. If we get it, we can only get it done. But we got to get it done. You agree to it. And she's like, I'll let you know this and that third. She pretty much says no because she's like, it's kind of complicated. And I don't blame her because I probably would have said no too. Meanwhile, poor Ty is pissed off because she has to give her husband Brandon half of her company's earnings. She's pissed off about that. She ran into the florist and she was telling her all about it and how she was upset. She was telling Amy the florist. And I'm thinking, are those two going to get together? I'm like, I wonder if they're going to get together. because they keep the way that it's like I feel like they're setting us up with something with that. Maybe I don't know. That's what they're doing, and I thought that was interesting. Then we have Quinn, who these two episodes, she is just she's depressed. She's not happy, but she's trying to hide it. And her and Andrew are having a conversation. They're getting ready for Pride Week, the Pride events and all those things. And she's all in this over the top outfit because this is her first Pride as someone who's come out or whatever. And Angie's telling her, "I got good news," and she brings out the luggage. She's like, "Well, you borrowed my luggage. You giving me my luggage?" She said, "No, I'm moving out." And Quinn looked a little upset about that. And she's like, "I'm moving out and I'm going over here to stay." I remember the dude she was messing with. He's got a gig somewhere out of town, so he's subletting his very, very, very tiny apartment to Angie. And Quinn's reaction was a little like, eh. And then Quinn's reaction was like, "Listen, I don't want to hear anything about you today. I need this to be about me." Because she's like, "But first I got to stop off to the park." She says, "Listen, today is Pride. This is what I want to do." That's what Quinn is saying. She's like, "I don't want to hear anything about what you're doing. It's always about you and some, your little foolishness." And she says, "So me moving out and getting the things I'm doing is foolishness to you?" So they kind of clash. And their little banter back and forth was funny. And, you know, Quinn told her, "Don't you slam this door." And she slammed the door anyway. And that was crazy. Very crazy. But that's this how friends are, their whole ups and downs of friends. And you feel bad for Quinn because Quinn really wants to be, she really truly wants to be happy. She's got it all, like financially, but love is missing. Things are that aspect of her just doesn't work for her for some reason. And it's really getting to her. I felt bad that she couldn't even finish the interview. Now all that went down. So she's really trying to distract herself and make herself feel good by going to this Pride thing. So now I like the conversation they had. So, her and Quinn and Angie, they've had a falling out. They're going their own ways for now. And so when they go to have lunch or whatever they get together, it's just Camille, Ty, and Quinn. And Ty, I like when Ty had to tell Camille, she said, "Listen, I might not be great with these relationship things, but you with these lies that you got going on, first you ain't tell Ian that, Jameson approached you. And you didn't even tell him about that you are unable to have babies." She said, "This lying in a relationship thing, this ain't going to work." And I have to agree with her. That's not going to work. It's too much. But Camille is her character. I like her character because she's so cute, but she's so ridiculous with her decisions. She's so she can't face anything, it seems. She can't, and she makes things a bigger project than they need to be. But I mean, if she didn't, we wouldn't have a show, right? Because you got to have the drama and the push and pull. So that's that. So now here we go. Quinn wants to. So now, while they're talking, Dr. Pruitt calls, or is it Professor? No, Dr. Pruitt called, played by the lovely Whoopi Goldberg. She tells Camille, "I need you. When can you come over?" And Camille at first was like, "I ain't going over there. This who goes on the weekend, this, that, and the third." Then she's like, "Oh, I might need this lady." So she's like, "When can you come over?" Great. She didn't even give Camille a chance to say what time. She said, 15 minutes. Great. Perfect. So Camille has to leave so she can help out Dr. Pruitt. So that leaves Quinn with Ty. Ty is like, she don't want no parts of this Pride parade stuff and all that. She's like, "I don't want to be there. I don't got time for that." But then Quinn really looks at her and says, "Listen, I really need you here, friend. I need you. I really, really, truly, truly need you." So that convinced her to go with her to the Pride event. And then we saw the funny banter and the foolishness of them at the Pride event. And meanwhile, while they're at the Pride event, we see Angie all high strung, because she wants to make sure she gets a phone call from Michael. She's worried that she's not going to get a call from Michael. So she's out there with her other friend, and then she keeps checking her phone. Then her phone gets kind of low. The battery gets low, so she's trying to find a store so she can plug in because she needs to call him. So she starts running, and they say when one black person run, another black person see it, everybody run. So now you see all these people running down the street, and I thought that was hilarious. That was really, truly funny. And then we find out what Dr. Pruitt wants from Camille. Basically, the person she hired stole from that project, stole some identity stole Dr. Pruitt's identity. Just a big mess, just a complete mess. So she needs Camille's help in gathering all this stuff together and fixing and getting things right. And of course, it looks bad on her. She hired the wrong person for the job. Turned out the girl ain't even black. It's just a mess. And then on top of that, she has to answer to the dean. Dr. Pruitt has to answer to the dean. But now you're starting to see this connection between her and Camille, because then you hear Dr. Pruitt telling her, listen, you need to get all this gathered and get this done. And I need you out of here before my dinner. And, I have dinner tonight. So we see the doctor get on the phone. And I was thinking at first it was maybe a guy, like it was a man, but it turns out it was her daughter. And of course, her daughter stood her up, and Camille kind of heard that conversation, and she was like, whatever you about to say, Camille, don't even bother. I don't need you saying nothing. Because Camille was like, I can relate to this. But then, as that's happening, the Dr. Pruitt gets a call that is the dean, and she's like, so Camille reversed it on her. It's like, I'll go with you, and whatever you was about to say, don't say it. So they're going to go. Now, while they're going to that, Camille, being who she is, she done left her phone at home. Ian picks up the phone, and he notices the text from Jameson. So automatically he's thinking, oh, what's going on? Because this dude, your ex, is texting you, talking about, think about it, meet me at the bar at such and such time. So he calls Quinn's phone. He's like, is she with you? Is Camille with you? And she was like, no, she not with me. She has something she needed to do. So she says that, and that triggers him. He's like, hold on, what's going on with that? Now, that's funny. And we see, while that's going on, there's so much going on. While that's going on, Angie trying to find a charger, trying to get a charger. Quinn's trying to have fun. They run into her mama at the Pride event. Her mother out there giving hugs to gay men or whatever. But then she won't give a hug to her own daughter. I'll hug you tomorrow, or I'll hug you next week, or something like that. She said, oh, I'm out here helping Isabella, and I put in a good word for you. Her mother is a trip. Like, her mother is a trip. I'm like, wow, that's not a good mother to have. So meanwhile, Ty is saying, you know what? I don't want to give Brandon half of nothing. While they're at the Pride event, she sees someone with a flyer with something similar to what she was planning. She said, you know what? I'm just going to shut my whole app thing down. And when you go to this, we get to this party, I'm going to make the announcement. She tries to make this announcement that she's going to shut the company down just to keep, she's so stubborn and crazy, just to keep Brandon from getting some money. So two fans approach her, and before they could get to speak, she grabs the mic. And she's about to announce that she's going to close her company, and the lady unplugs the mic. And the woman speaks to her and says, listen, due to your app, I'm no longer lonely. I'm not that woman in the woods. I found my true love. And that inspired her. And she's like, yes, here's to Quinn. And so they're at Ty's party. Quinn is still miserable, not happy. In walks the dudes from Vogue, but in the elevator, and the guy says she's trying to avoid seeing him. And he said, oh, it's not my fault. Your Vogue article got canceled or something like that. So she starts fighting him, Solange style, in the elevator, gets kicked out of the building. When she's getting kicked out, she runs into Angie. They make up. She gives Angie this charger thing, this portable charger, so Angie can charge her phone. The guy just so happens to call her. And, something, funny stuff, silly too. And while that's happening, the episode ends with Ian going to confront Jameson. So that's how episode 5 ended. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So episode 6 picks up Ian talking to Jameson man to man. And he's like, what you calling my girl for? And he's like, I saw her yesterday at Columbia. She didn't tell you? And, that whole thing, it kind of was, I thought it was going to go one way, but it didn't. It kind of resolved itself. So he basically found out that what it was all about, that it was a business thing. It was about this grant and that she should do it. And he's like, I agree with you. She should do it. And they kind of came to a good conclusion. And then the funny scene was while they're sitting there, the guy gives them 2 drinks and says, Happy Pride Day to them. I guess he thought that they were together. Now, in real life, it probably would have been more drama between 2 guys and a girl. 2 guys that were dealing with the same girl. It wouldn't have went that smooth, but, it's a TV. So it went a little smooth here. So I'm glad that resolved because I thought there was going to be like some fight or whatever. So Ian ends up telling Camille, I saw Jameson and he told me what was going on, why you didn't tell me. So she got upset at first. She's like, so you talking to him and then you going through my phone? And she said, oh, you going to decide for me? And so with her jumping to conclusions, she thought he knew about her not being able to have children. So she slipped up and told him that. He didn't know anything about that. He said, why you didn't tell me about that? I would have supported you. I would have helped you with that situation. Like they seem like, they're working through their issues. He's like, damn, you could have told me that. You could have said something to me. And what we see here, what we're seeing with Camille, is Camille has these issues and she even goes home. We see her go home to her mother. And the mother's got holiday decorations up. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? But the mother's trying to have holidays every day because the mother's distracted. She don't want to face her issues. And those issues are that the father had passed and she can't deal with that. She's trying to, her issues, you can tell the mother has issues. She just runs from things. Now, Camille went there to get her Social Security card and her birth certificate because, the situation that happened with Dr. Pruitt at the job with the fraud. Now Columbia wants to see everybody's identity. They need to make sure you have your social and your birth certificate to prove who you really are. So that's why she went to her mama's house. Other than that, she probably wouldn't have went to the mother. They don't seem to be that close. But I like that scene because you see now that Camille is learning about herself. Like, I'm similar to my mother. I distract myself from my problems and try to avoid them by going into something else and ignoring them. And you can't do that. That's not healthy. But I did like the scene between her and her mom when the mother reached down in the drawer and found the birth certificate and social, but she showed her a picture of Camille when Camille was a baby. She said, this was your first Christmas, and this is the only picture I have of it, so I want to keep it here. And she said, well, now, Camille took a picture of it and said, well, now I have it. So that was cool. That was sweet. That was nice. Funny moments in this was, like I said, Quinn is still all depressed. Now, that wasn't a funny moment, her being depressed, but in her depression, I like when they show those shows within a show, and they showed some reality show that was like a play on the Housewives. It was called the Weather Wives or something like that, the Weather Wives of Australia, and they was knocking over stuff and all that. That was hilarious to me. I thought that was hilarious. We see Angie's having a good time. She's on the set of this Hallmark movie, and it's Michael's birthday. He comes to the set, and she's trying to play it off like, oh, you surprised me. He's like, how did I surprise you? You made sure you told me where you were, and you got me clearance to come on the set. He said, what I need from you, though, is to come to my birthday party tonight when you're done with all of this. Because she says she's in this Hallmark movie where she says Merry Christmas 1,000 times, and she plays the male woman in there. And they have these little funny inside jokes. She's like, yeah, this movie is really like, oh my goodness, super corny. And then I love her castmates that are part of the Hallmark movie. That one lady's always saying stuff. She's like, oh, I'm doing well. My husband's drinking again. Like, she's always saying some crazy stuff. Angie goes in the dressing room. Her hair's all out. And she thinks it's just her turn to get her hair done. And the hairstylist was like, oh, I think we're just going to leave it just how it is. We love you. Doing all that, pacifying her, all that. And doesn't do her hair. And Angie's like, I'm not joking. I need my hair done. She's like, oh, you're such a kidder. And she leaves her. And then we get this sequence between a dream sequence or daydream sequence or whatever, where we see Countess Vaughn playing Countess Vaughn, which I thought was funny because remember, in last week's episode, last Friday, there was, what was that, episode 4? We saw when she got the Hallmark job, they mentioned that Moesha's, the girl who was in Moesha, was fired from the job, which would have been Countess Vaughn because she couldn't ride a bike. So it was good to see Countess Vaughn in there. And she's telling her, like, listen, girl, you know what you need to do? You do your own hair. That's what black women got to do. She said, listen, do your own hair. So that's the thing that Angie had to see. So I knew they said Countess Vaughn was going to be on this season. I thought she was going to play a character, but it was good seeing her and good it was good seeing her and good seeing her play herself. Hopefully, you know what I'm hoping they do? I hope she comes back more and have these imaginary conversations or these dream sequences with Countess. Because I like Countess Vaughn. I like seeing her, good seeing her out here working. I like Countess Vaughn. I think she's very funny and talented. Um, Quinn is still just down on her dumps. You see her without makeup. She goes to her shop, and that lady Jill, who I believe was in the first season, really annoying, talking, very materialistic. And she even tells the woman, "Why don't you shut the F up?" And the woman's like, "What?" She said, I can't do this. And she leaves. She leaves the woman there. She can't do it. And she tells them, she texts her friend. She's like, "Listen, y'all, I need y'all." That's what she's telling them, I'm gonna need you. She said, "I can't do this. I really can't do this." But before that, we seen a scene with um, Brandon and Ty. Brandon got his half. He got his money, and he got what was it? $1,588.12 to be exact. But he looked sad. He didn't look like he was happy about that. He looked very sad. And I was like, Dad, this guy really is feeling her. He's looking really sad. And he tried to speak to her, and she said, "Don't even try it." She didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to hear it. She was like, "Screw you, whatever." So later on, I like the scene where basically he knocks on the door. And she's like, "You got some nerves. And get out of here." Then she slams the door. Then she opens the door again. "Get back in here." He comes back in. She keeps telling him in, out, in, out, in, out. She's telling them off. And I'm like, Dad, this dude is really tolerating a lot. Me, I would have took the money and that would have got me over you. But him, he's like, she said, "You got some nerves. You told me I don't have no love and I don't have this." She said, "But why are you still working? Why couldn't you move on? What's wrong with you?" And he said, "Well, I tried to move on and those people left me too." And he said, "I thought taking half your money would hurt you the way it hurt me when you left me, but that didn't work." And he tore the check up. I wouldn't have tore that check up. I would have kept the check. But he loved this girl. So they kind of bonded right there. And I was like, okay, that was kind of cool. They bonded. But she's so tired. So I like Ty's character, but she's so like ruthless sometimes. But she like pretty much told him, and I like that scene between the two of them because he told her, he said, "Listen, I'm very proud of what you did. Even though it hurt me, I'm proud of what you've made for yourself." And he gave her a hug or whatever. And then we seen later in the episode that, because she has to take those needles for the fertility shots and all, the shots that she's doing and all that to preserve her eggs and all those good things and needles and all that. She don't like needles, and we see him helping her. So I'm like, that's good. They can be friends. And, write him another check. Because he shouldn't have told it. That was a little too dramatic. I wouldn't have told no check up. I'm going to take that check. That's going to help me get over that check. I got my own money, though. But see, I going to make it about me. I would not have, once you leave me, that's the type once you leave me, I'm just going to let you leave. I'm not going to force somebody to try to be with me or force an answer. You left me, it hurt me. I'm going to sit and cry in a puddle for however long. Then I'm going to get up and get myself back on track. That's what I would be doing. Brandon's a little too whiny for me. It's like, dude, come on. But I get it. I get it. I totally get it. What else happened? Camille has a conversation with Ian. She says she's not going to keep any secrets anymore. She's never keeping any secrets anymore. She's going to talk to him. She realized she's just like her mama in that aspect. And he told her, "Listen, there's other ways, baby. We can have kids, we can adopt, we could do this, we could do that. And she said, you know what? I am going to take the job with Jameson. I am going to do the thing. So then we see her meet with Jameson, and he tells her, I'm glad you decided to take it because I wouldn't have been able to do this grant without you, because they wouldn't give me the grant if you weren't a part of it. Like, she had to be a part of it anyway. So she's like, okay, let's get this ready. We got snacks. We got this. Let's get this done. I'm sitting there the whole time like, I'm not feeling this. I don't know if I would I want my girlfriend's career to flourish, but I don't know if this whole idea of y'all working so intimately together, can't y'all go to the Starbucks or something and do this? Why y'all in the house like that when you know this dude still got a little bit of feelings for you? Jameson still has feelings for her. You could tell by the way he was. And he's sitting in there with the shirt on, what they call those, the wife beater t-shirts. That's what the undershirts on. Put a shirt on. Cover up. He knew what he was up. He knew what he was up to. Meanwhile, as that's happening, the girls get a text from Quinn. Like I said, Quinn saying she needs them because she's crying and sobbing. And I noticed something tonight in those songs that they played while it was some song called Mirror Talk. Every scene that had Quinn in it where she was crying, well, it had some good music. That song Mirror Talk, that was a pretty good song. And I think the lady's name is Griff that sings that. That was a good song. I was like, damn, what song is this? So I had to look that up. That was a good song while they was doing that montage on her. And then they had the gospel song, I can't give up now, come too far where I started from. Nobody told me the road. I love that song. I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. I love that song. Sorry. Anyway, so she needs her friends, but I like how they put that together. She needs her friends, and they're all over there. And she's like, listen, y'all, I have so much, but I'm still hurting. And what's name said, don't criticize your feelings. Ty told her, don't criticize your feelings. Then they said, well, wait a minute. Where's Camille? So they said, text her again. They text Camille. Camille wakes up. She's in the bed with Jameson. And that's how the episode ended. Oh, my God. I knew that was going to happen. Because I said that it was y'all too close for comfort. That first of all, you're going to work with him again, ma'am. Y'all need to do this not somewhere intimate. Y'all should be down at the library, down at Starbucks, somewhere. You should not be in his house with the snacks and the good music, because y'all had a thing before. And so that's where that is. So we'll see what happens next week in next week's episode. Tell me your thoughts. What did you feel about this episode? These two episodes, did you like them? I thought they were pretty good. They had little funny moments. I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen next week. That's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Check out my other videos. I think you'll enjoy them. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you when? In the next video.